Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are back with another episode of nCompass Podcast. I am your esteemed and devoutly devoted host, Mr. Part of My Rude himself. And man, it feels good to be back with you. I hope you enjoyed episode 8. I got to introduce you to my son. Told you that guy's hilarious, man. He tried to steal the spotlight from me. And he's already asking when we're going to do another podcast together. Now, I know you're wondering, hey, where's our intro music? Where's our theme music? And how is this pod going to be? What direction are we moving? Well, I got something special for you. I know we said something special last week, and we're going to keep the party going. You know, we had our pre-Father's Day episode. This is the episode after Father's Day, and we're going to keep it rocking. This episode, I have company again. And I don't want to say company. Let me correct that. I have family with me again. I have my brothers. I am a part of a conglomerate of individuals called LXI. And these are a group of men who have acquired a set of skills to do any and everything in life. And we come together to form a mega monster conglomerate that's bigger than Voltron, that's bigger than the Super Megazord with the turtle and all those parts put together. I have my brothers with me from Pardon the Politics, Jeezy and Manny in the building. I also have my brother who is previously stated as the regional therapist, my boy Eric in the building.
Yo, what's the word?
So I'm going to give y'all a chance to introduce yourselves and show some love, but I want to stop anyone who's listening right now because the beautiful thing about this episode is it's essentially a part 2. If you have not heard part 1, I implore you, stop listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Go over to Pardon the Politics. This is like one of those crossover episodes on NBC with Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. You know, we crossed over our episodes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so this is the LXI universe. And I need you to go over to Pardon the Politics. It's spelled just how it sounds.
Yeah.
Keep
platform
simple.
You listen. Keep very simple. I'm the difficult one with changing the spelling of my name. But hey, who am I?
Yep.
The same platform that you're listening to this on, you can listen to their podcast. I know I've made mention of them before, and I hope you already checked them out. But if you have not, press stop, go to your search Pardon the Politics, episode 24, right, brothers?
Oh, yeah.
Episode 24.
As your grandma would tell you, get your hind parts over here.
Get over there right now.
And check us out for part 1.
Check them out for part 1. But then when you finish that, check out those other 23 episodes. It's a wealth of information. And interestingly enough, to show you how connected we are, we don't conversate. Ooh, I said
conversate.
Who am I?
It's just late,
brother. Converse.
We don't converse on our topics. But you will see a lot of parallel and symmetry between our two podcasts. They go a bit more in depth, as I've told you before, but great content. And we're going to speak this into existence. Eric is going to be presenting y'all with some content soon. I'm actually going to have him on nCompass, and so we can chop it up there as well.
Oh, yeah.
But as I said, if you have not heard part 1, stop. Go listen to part 1, and we will meet you back here for part 2 so you can enjoy the rest of this conversation.
Definitely.
If you've heard part 1, this is where the fun is going to pick back up. And we're going to start with another icebreaker before we really get into our questions. We have 2 more questions that we're going to discuss and go through. So in this icebreaker, I'll call it an icebreaker of sorts. I'm going to ask the fellas here, give me, as a dad, your theme song or your ring entrance. When you come into the building, what song do you want playing to represent you?
Man, I think I was thinking about like 2 songs that hit my head.
Okay.
One I think about like just vibes, right? I think about like Summer Madness, Cool in the Gang. Is a song I love so much because it's so many different parts of it, right? There's like a really cool, calm tempo. There's a high tempo. There's different nuance in that song, and I think it represents different ways we show up as a father, or I show up as a father.
Yeah, for sure.
And then one with some lyrics. Kendrick Lamar, "Father Time," I think is a really good song because there's a ton of just things that I remember when I hear it, think about my father and things I take from that too. So just those two songs off the top of my head, I think about I've been really close to.
Hey, Jeezy, this guy does not have a hole in the bottom of his bag.
Bruh. No,
There's no hole in the bottom of that bag, boy.
Nah,
not here at least.
I've seen times where he's had holes in his bags.
Or not a bag at all, brother.
Or not a bag at all. But he is definitely patched that up. And that's those are excellent selections. I will say for myself, and mine is maybe a little bit unconventional because the song is really meant for a mother. My song is gonna be "To Summer" from Cole, which was by J. Cole. And it's a song that he dedicated to Summer Walker, but it's a song that I actually play quite often. Actually, I think I might play it every day. There's certain elements to this song, and though it's meant for a mother, it speaks to me as far as just the feel of being an involved and present Black dad. He starts the song by just saying, and Summer Walker repeats, "Call me when you need some love." And that's something that is, as a dad that has all girls, I have 2 girls and 1 girl on the way.
Blessings.
Bless you.
Blessings.
I've often said, bro, thank you. I need all the prayers I can get.
All of them.
But I've often said that, and this is just my belief, that girls get their confidence, their self-esteem from their dads.
Big facts.
So when I hear that line repeated by Summer, to call me when you need some love, that's a call of a duty for me as a dad to provide that day in and day out for my girls so that they feel and understand what true love really looks like. Most girls, I think, can understand, if you're listening to this podcast, that your first love as a girl is your dad. It should be your dad. If it's not, then I'm sorry for you, and I apologize that was not given to you. But your first love should be your dad. But one of those lines that J. Cole speaks in this is that when he talks about Summer Walker's Session 32, he talks about how he cries, and he kind of blames it on his kids, and how his kids have made him sensitive. And I think that for me, it really resonates because I was a pretty cold-hearted person until I got these kids.
Bruh, I feel
And
you.
I think all of us can kind of agree with that. But once I got these kids, and not just these kids, but these girls, I remember it just reminds me of the first time that I cried as a dad, sitting at my oldest daughter's 5th grade graduation. She's singing the song, or the tears I cried at my baby girl when she was born, and the joy I felt, and just when she went to daycare for the first time and I was miserable that day. That song just really reminds me. And then for the unborn child that I have on the way, I'm sure that I'm gonna have those moments. And I often joke about how these girls split my soul in half, like Voldemort with these Horcruxes. They kill me, bro. And as a dad, we always are taught to be so tough and so, macho. But I think it takes a special dad to raise a girl. No disrespect to nobody that's raising a son. And if you've raised both, you have best of both worlds and have understood.
Shout out to
my brother
Chuck.
Shout out to Chuck. But I got 3 girls, man, and they wear on my heart. And certain songs like this just really do it for me. So that's gonna be my song, man.
I was gonna say, Jeezy, one thing for a man get to us. Think about a poem we've all held close to us is "Tired moments find me a delightful treat."
Man,
listen, you just think about being tired, just being a parent. But I digress. I'll let Manny give his songs.
So
he just hit me.
I'm gonna hit 3 real quick. You said WWE entrance. Well, first we got to start off with the Roman Reigns tribal chief.
Bruh.
Acknowledge me as your tribal chief.
Tribal chief in the building.
That's right up your way.
That's my intro song. But to go from that, if I look from a real personal standpoint, and it's funny, me and Jeez will talk about this from time. Well, me and Frank will talk about this from time to time. And he's like, when I first met you, I didn't know you actually like listened to music like that. But I think one of the songs I would pick is from hands down one of my favorite artists, and that's Ryan Leslie from his Black Mozart album, History.
Arles.
Yeah.
Bruh.
That intro, life is really what you make it. It's whatever you write in your own history book. So whatever story you write, make sure it's good.
Talk that talk.
And the one that really hits me from a fatherhood standpoint, and I'll do a very quick story. We had just found out that my now wife, she at the time was pregnant with twins. And we had lost one of the twins, but the other one was doing fine, and she's here now. But also, Hamilton had just come out, and it had just come out on Disney Plus. So we were watching it, and it got to the song "Dear Theodosia," and when Manuel Miranda gets that part where he's like, "My father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll make a million mistakes. I'll make the world safe and sound for you." Bruh, cried. Like not like openly weeps. Like Shannon tough. Looked over me, she like, "You good? It's just a musical."
Nah,
but it had
more to you.
Well, and at that moment, I had really just started processing the responsibility that had just landed on my shoulders. That like, hey, I'm now responsible for this life, and I have a responsibility of making sure that this child not only comes into a better situation that I had, but even grows into a greater situation.
Yeah.
Man,
so,
I will just say this before you continue, Chuck. Manny, that was very beautiful. But I think when you spoke of Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think you said his name in the most wrongest way that you possibly could say. So I'm not gonna let
y'all read the Bible.
I'm not gonna let you slide. You said that in the manner in which white people go to Mexican restaurants on Taco Tuesday and say "gracias."
That sounds like a Donald Trump pronunciation.
Yeah, you did that. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Bruh, that's hilarious. All right, so for me, dang, Manny, following all of y'all up, that's tough. Jeezy, I definitely can relate to that cold track and speaking on being a father to a daughter, with my first child being a girl. It definitely changed a thought process for me. It changed a compassion process for me. And so definitely can relate that. And then, Manny, the pressure of being a father and, that responsibility that hits you. Oh man, they're counting on me.
Yeah.
For me, y'all know me, I'm a bit arrogant. I'm a bit braggadocious. So my song, even though I cannot stand this dude, is God Did. And
bro, no, not Khaled.
I can't stand Khaled, bro. But
being alone.
In the essence of the entirety of the song, it's not only just the chorus, God did.
Yeah.
But as he starts off, it breaks my heart. They didn't believe in us. They played themselves. While you hating and being jealous, you could be over there embracing that love. And as a Black active father, the stereotype, and we kind of touched on this on part one in regards to that stigma of being a father, a Black father that is present and active. That's the biggest thing, man. Being active in your child's life. it speaks to it, but it also kind of touches on what Manny was saying. For me, when I first found out, my biggest thing was, oh my God, I have somebody counting on me. I'm responsible for them. And so I've had this conversation with my kids. It's funny. They were like, oh, Daddy, you're not scared of anything. And I'm like, well, there's one thing that I am scared of. And that the one fear that I do have is failing you. And
okay,
so,
Mufasa.
Bruh.
Listen,
Black
I ain't
Father
gonna
we
get
didn't
in.
mention in the other episode, by the way.
Oh, bro. He was not mentioned.
I am not gonna go on my diatribe about how I feel about Mufasa in the Lion King.
Keeping the main thing the main thing.
We're gonna save that for that's a whole different pod for another
pod, another show. But anyway, yes, God did, and to be where we are now, in my life as a father, my daughter graduated with such esteem and such honor.
Shout out to baby girl, man. Shout out to
baby girl, man.
As I always tell y'all, man, you and the wife, y'all did an amazing job.
Fantastic job, y'all.
Hey, the standard is the standard, boy.
God did.
Standard.
God did for sure.
I appreciate it. Yeah, man. And so in that, and knowing to carry it forward. But Jeezy, like you said, for me, having that daughter, but now the different dynamic in having a son coming behind her, and what I have to not play different roles, but occupy different spaces. With the different dynamic between the girl and the boy, because Jeezy, as you understand, and Manny, as you understand, you have to provide and establish that line of discipline, but still be soft enough that they run to you. But then Eric can understand on the son aspect, I can't have you be soft and weak. But I want you to be able to express how you feel. So, it's dope. But we're gonna get into these questions because we can go on and on and on.
Bro, I was about to say, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I had a whole bunch of stuff.
Bro, I was about to say, bro, off of just what you said, let alone, I was like, oh, bro, I'm ready to say so much more, but we gotta press forward with the episode.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump into our questions again. If you have not listened to part 1, go check it out. Those first 2 questions, very dynamic, very poignant responses from my brothers and myself. But I love what my brothers were saying in those responses. This third question that we have here is, what role did your own father or father figures play in shaping your approach to parenting, and how do you try to build on or change that legacy?
Man, that is a. I'll go first. On this one, this is actually one I've looked forward to speaking on. I grew up in a very different dynamic. As a child, I was raised predominantly by my mother and my grandmother, and my dad wasn't, as we have spoke about in both episodes, that active, present father. And I think that when I look at my parenting style, I I think that the most common thing that I've realized is that I obviously want to look opposite of what I've seen. Those that may be listening that have had a similar experience of having a dad that was not active or present, or and there's two folds to this, because you can be active and not be positively impacting the child and be just as bad as an absent dad.
Big facts.
Yeah.
So let's understand that you could be in the home, you could be active, and you could be just as a detriment to the child as somebody that wasn't there at all.
You could be in the home and not be present.
Facts. So I think for me, and I had challenges in my childhood where, as I grew as a teenager, I had this animosity towards my dad because I didn't understand why he wasn't present. I questioned whether it was Was I not doing enough? Did he not love me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, as a man, because you know, my mom did a fantastic job. Shout out to
Shout out
D.
to Mama D.
Mama D,
Mama D,
the
yo,
realest.
goated.
You know, she did an amazing job. But there's only, and I want women to understand, you can be an amazing mother, but there's still but so much you can do as to raising a man. There's certain things that you just can't do. So when I would look at my dad, I often would look at him with animosity. But as I have grown as now a father of my own, I've been blessed to have a family. I'm married. I have 2 beautiful children with another one on the way. The weird thing about my viewpoint of my father's role or lack thereof in my life is sympathy and empathy for him.
That he missed it.
That he missed it, but also I have to believe, and I could be wrong, I have to believe there is a pain within him that he has to live with because he missed out on being an active, present Black dad, not playing a part in realizing that your child still did fine without you. And I realized this, and y'all can attest to this, because as I got married, you guys know my dad was a part of my wedding. And I didn't want him to be, but my mom always showed me and told me that regardless of the fact, and you know how old Black folks is, they know the Bible. You gotta honor your mother and father.
Gotta honor them.
And I remember having moments where, and my mom, God rest her soul, would engrave this in me. Regardless of how you feel, it's still your daddy.
Still your daddy.
Still your daddy. It's still your daddy. I used to hate hearing that mess. But I had my father at my wedding, and he was at my bachelor's party, and you guys can attest.
And threw that pile of change in my hand.
Yeah, he didn't really take well to Manny, but that's another story.
That's another pod.
But I remember in the car, he leaned over to me, and he was like, "Look what I text your mom." Now my dad is one of them, he old school. So I just knew that he had text like, yeah, I really thought that he was like, yeah, once I get back, it's on. You know, I really thought it was on that type of time. But what he showed me, he said, no, look. And he showed me the text message. He said, my mom, and this is like at midnight. And he's like, you raised an excellent son without me. And it made me think in my older age now, even though I still hurt from not having a relationship, and I feel like there's so much that I missed out on, and there's such a dynamic that's extreme with my dad. It made me start thinking, yeah, I live with a pain of not having that relationship, and I had to maybe figure out things a harder way than I had to. That probably would have been a lot easier had he been around. But what is it that he's living with?
Yeah.
What pain is it that he lives with? Realizing and understanding that, yeah, there's a lack that I have with you being absent, but it wasn't something that led me to gangs. It didn't lead me to prison. It didn't lead me to being a drug addict. Like, I had some hardships that happened in life that I had to overcome, but I ultimately created for myself a family that you never showed me or provided for me or gave me the necessary tools to create. I created this on my own. And ultimately, that has to lead way more of an heartache and a pain that I will never have to experience.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah, go ahead, Chuck. I was like, I have a lot of thoughts on that one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just like the old folks say, he got an answer for that.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Jeezy, man. I wrote down a lot of stuff. I think the first thing I think about is flexibility versus rigidity in ways of approaching what you just discussed. And I think about you can look at these things of your father and your relationship with him growing up and things you had versus things you didn't have, and it's understanding intention versus perception.
Yeah.
You perceived it to be one way. I validate that. That's your lived experience, brother. That's true. That's valid. I also offer this to you is I had to do this with my father is understanding that it wasn't two things are true. You were harmed, right?
Yeah.
And he did the best he could with what he knew. And that's an acceptance you
Yeah.
can have for yourself because if two things are true, which one gives you more juice on the squeeze? Right? Which one helps
Mm.
you out? Which one gives you the ability to be who you want to be, which is able to connect with your father?
Yeah.
Right? And the thought that he did the best with what he had gives you space to explore a new normal. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to live off of this perception of who he was or why he did these things to you. You know, you can go, you know what he did because that's the best he could do, and I forgive him for that. And so I'm going to put the energy into recreating the new normal to process my harm, right? And it's accepting the past to connect to the present, right? And the question I say to folks that because I've dealt with this in therapy, right? When I think about men and dealing with like how they were parented, is who do you want to be in these
Yeah.
moments when you get overcome or overwhelmed by this shame, guilt, whatever, anger, frustration? Who do you want to be, man? What are your values and how do you want to show up for yourself? Are you going to allow things that are valid and happen to you form your behavior and shape who you
Mm-hmm.
are? That's your emotional mind. That's not who you want to be.
Yeah.
Or are we going to lean into the cognitive wise mind that says you're able, you're capable of great things, you can do these things, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing is as a black father is really recognizing just when I'm in that emotional mind and when I'm in this wise mind. The metaphor of these two things for you, real quick, is we've all argued with our partners, right? Or had heated debates with friends, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
20 minutes after that argument, we're all like, shit, I should have said that. Right.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's the perfect example of emotional mind and wise mind. The emotional mind could not connect to things to say that made sense or was correct in the moment. After the fact, once you got past that mood, the wise mind, the who you are showed up, the CEO, and said, that's what I know. So as a father, what I take away from that is when I get overwhelmed, when I feel I'm not in that Eric state, I go seek some comfort and I go take some space because I deserve to give my child authentic me and not emotional me. I
Yeah.
role model emotions are real and I can be there for, but that's just like kind of when I'm thinking about the question, the role in my own parenting and thinking about, you and your father is just like, what informs your hurt, bro? Right. And being vulnerable with that and being able to name that out loud and thinking back on your dad and what I do know about him, it's kind of like he, instead of me actively engaging with you in fatherhood, I just go, you know what, he'll be fine. D's got him. It's all good. And it's the same way of me going past the gym in my condo going, I could get abs if I really worked out. But
Yeah.
what if I did work out? What if I did do that meal plan? I still didn't make the mark. Then what? Then I had to accept I'm a failure.
Yeah.
Versus me just in my head, not saying nothing, nobody, not being vulnerable. I just say I
Mm-hmm.
could definitely do that. And that's what makes me avoid, again, the hurt and the sadness or the scared I have when it comes to the situation.
One thing that I think of, Eric, and then I'll pass this to somebody else that off the points that you've made. In the development that I have had with those emotions, I often think, what is it that he has not dealt with that
Mm-hmm.
has been so unresolved that prompted him to respond or not respond or to move or operate in the manner in which he
Mm-hmm.
did. And I will
Mm-hmm.
say this because there was the girl that I dated in high school, her grandmother knew my dad and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met her grandmother and met her family, I was like, yeah, my dad is X, Y, X, Y, and Z. And she was like, ooh, I know your dad. And she was like, and I knew his dad. And her response and the details after was like, ooh, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like real dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think how much of what you have done is from what has been done to you. And I think that we see so much in our community, and I'm just gonna say our black community.
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much generational trauma that gets passed down or masked or identified or disguised as, oh, this is just how we are. Or this is who we are. Or I've even heard a person say, well, it was done to me.
Therefore,
and
therefore
it passes down.
It's normalized.
And whoo, thank you, Eric. That's the word I was
normalized in Black communities, brother.
It's normalized. And then when we have little Johnny and little Tyrone and little so-and-so that goes out in the community and they operate within this space, there is no grace because this generational thing has been passed down with no understanding of why.
What caused it.
Or even if what caused it, where is the acceptance within the community to get help for that?
Yes.
Because it could be a part of you and you can get help and that will hopefully eliminate the generational pass down in the family. But also in the same time, in our community, we say it's okay to pass down these generational things, and it's also okay to not get any help.
It is okay to have Jesus and a therapist.
And let me before
Big
y'all,
facts.
God, somebody know, boy, you about to get me started on something. I ain't gonna say nothing else after this, but I want to say this for our people in our community. We are so quick that when people are dealing with trauma, we think that we can pray, we think we can preach, we think we can fellowship, and we think we can prophesy over anything that anybody's dealing with. When sometimes there are some people that need professional help.
Yes, sir.
To deal with the things that they are dealing with. There are folks that sit and can go to church as faithful as they possibly can and be just as divulged into the word and be covered in it and still gonna struggle. So stop making it seem like, oh, well, if you struggling with this, it's just because you ain't praying enough. No, baby, you need some professional help.
And it's not that prayer can't be part of that solution.
And that's not. It's not that it can't be a part, but it can't be the end all be all.
I'm gonna interject because I agree with everything you said, right? And there's to the listeners here, I implore everybody here to go look up this powerful woman, Dr. Joy DeGraw. She talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome and just generational trauma and healing. And one thing she said,
you said post what?
Post-traumatic slave
syndrome.
Yes, post-traumatic slave. She's a black woman.
She's a black woman.
She's a black woman. She is dope as hell. I can send you a clip too. She's dope as hell, and she talks about generational trauma. And one thing she says, and this kind of echoes it, is you can't heal from something you don't understand. And understanding that we're asking Black people to heal about current traumas when we have not even healed from slavery, from Jim Crow, from mass incarceration, from crack versus cocaine epidemic. And it's not because we don't want to. It's because A, there's not systems created to do healing. And B, we don't know how to heal, right? So what do? We bottle it up, we internalize it, we just kind of, that's where that pray it away kind of echoes comes, because it's a throwaway to get it off your, I'm just going to do that, right? And yes, I agree, there is a solid, amazing avenue of religious celestial connection that exists in a therapeutic space, but two things can be true, right? You can pray and connect with your God and your religion, and then also realize that God has given you the intelligence to seek out formal therapy and seek out spaces that allow you to show up in that space using that cultural value of religion. But yeah, healing, you can't heal from something you don't understand. Malcolm X said it
Eric,
best. Yeah,
go ahead.
Malcolm X said it best. You can't drive a knife into my back 9 inches, pull it out 6, and call it progress.
Exactly.
There's still a knife in my back.
Still a knife. And to your point, I seen a clip where someone was speaking about slavery. Someone tried to make the point, we've been free for 100-something years. And they really broke it down. And it was like, in essence, we've only been free maybe 45 to 50 years.
On paper.
Free-ish.
Free-ish. If you look at not just the slavery period, but after that, the period of torture and torment right after slavery, where you have, your Tulsa massacres and Black Wall Street and the riots and massacres in Wilmington, North Carolina, and other areas throughout the U.S. Then you have your Jim Crow era. And then these were all a part of that system. So, yeah, very dope that you brought that point up. Manny, want to give us an answer on this question?
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Man, well, first off, congrats to Eric for paying attention in all those classes. Man.
Hey, man.
Brother, I read a couple
$5
things.
education.
Hey, he earned that thing.
Shout out to the Aztecs, baby. San Diego State.
So my dad was very strict. And I'm trying to think how I put it together. So I had 3 older half siblings and 2 younger adopted siblings. And I'll start this off where I know that my father loved me.
Yeah.
I also know that he had to work hard. So he wasn't like present. Like, I think back to, I grew up swimming. I swam competitively. My dad came to, and think about in the summers, we're having swim meets every Saturday.
Yeah.
Of the 6 years I was swimming competitively, he made it to like maybe 3 of the swim meets. I got off on those swim meets, but like, so it wasn't always there. So I think back to the Mighty Ducks episode where Gordon Bombay is talking about like, hey, when his dad showed up to a game, he wanted to score 100 goals.
Yeah.
So he wasn't always present. Now, I think what adds a layer to complexity of that is I feel like, and my father has passed, so I can't have these conversations, but I felt like there's I believe it's an 18-year gap between me and my youngest half sibling.
Okay.
So I think when he got to me, A, he's a lot older. B, he had done this with another boy and 2 girls.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he was like, I got to get this one right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was so much focus on the standard for me.
Yeah.
And then also to be in the same house where I had 2 younger adopted siblings who were allotted a freedom that I didn't per se have.
Yeah.
Not that he loved them any less or any more than me, but there was a layer of freedom that they had to be themselves.
Yeah.
Where the focus on me was like, you were it.
Yeah.
You have got to figure this out because you are who he's put all the chips on. When my dad, we were going through, he went through with a knee surgery and there was questions about his health and doing that. There were people in the family with my half siblings around talking about, man, you know that you're the one, right?
Yeah.
You're the one that he's betting on.
No pressure, brother.
But none. And looking back now, I have an appreciation of it.
Yeah.
But there is a closeness that now as an adult I would have loved to have had with him.
Bro, I was just about to say that.
That I didn't have.
Yeah.
Not that he did, and it's not from a case that he didn't want to be that.
Yeah.
But I think it is a combination. He didn't necessarily have the time.
Bro.
because he had to do what he needed to do. But then also from the flip side, I think he had attempted that before and it didn't work.
It didn't work. Manny, that speaks so many volumes, because with the dynamic that I have with my kids, for our listeners who don't know, my oldest is 17, but my next youngest is 5.
Yeah.
And that, Manny, that speaks so much to me, because I feel like oftentimes I may be missing out on certain things.
Yeah.
Because I got the same approach. Because I'll be very transparent. My oldest hasn't always gotten it right, and the path has been a lot more tougher for her than I feel like it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, and I think that's normal for a dad.
Yeah.
That, as a first time dad, my daughter was 20 when she was born. My oldest was. So of course I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And I didn't have it all together. I didn't have a manuscript to show me what to do, what not to do, how to do it. And then obviously me and her mother wasn't together. But now, with my youngest, I'm married. Is she's with my wife. She's in the home with me on a consistent basis, and I feel like sometimes I'm so like, and to try to make sure she get it right, because maybe I'm betting on her,
Right.
that I may be missing out sometimes on what you're speaking of that may have been a miss for you and your dad, and now I'm like, I that's a thin line.
It is. And I think what it's caused in me is that focus on getting it right is I almost internally create environments where I'm not allowed to fail.
Absolutely. That's powerful.
And there are so many decisions that go through my head. Like, I rehearse conversations in my head. So I'm prepared for and there's 2 very particular conversations that I run through in my head. It is the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. So I'm prepared for those 2 extremes. And the thing that I think from all that, the thing that I want to pass on is that drive, is that strive to go after it.
Yeah.
But I want to provide an environment for my kids that it's okay if this doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You could one of the things that in my walk with Christ that's really weighed on me is that you can fall on your face, but still fall in his hand.
Amen.
Preach, brother.
I think that is kind of my goal, is to create an environment that they can go after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm there. I'm there to catch them. And that's kind of the focus and legacy that I want to create for them.
Oh, I got a question about that, though.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, I had a question, but then you answered it, so I want to recognize it. My question was, you're saying, like, I had this hypervigilance to get it right with my kid. And I was going to say, well, what is right? And that's so vague. And sometimes we put these, like, goal-oriented details to what right means, and it limits what right could show up as. And then you answered it of like, well, I'm reframing what right is, and I'm taking away the exactness of what right has to be, and I'm focusing on the core of what it's birthed from. Right. And right. And what your version of right that you're rewriting here has that. And I said it 1,000 times on here and in the other pod, vulnerability and acceptance and validation that you're allowed to fall forward because of the things we root ourselves in. Right. Whether that's God, right. Whether that's family, culture, right. Like those are the reasons why we walk by faith and not by sight. Right.
Boy, I know you don't know no scripture. I know you ain't. I know that fool ain't full of scripture.
Hey, when your crew is a bunch of preacher kids, you pick up a couple things, don't you? Ain't no Anglo-Saxon.
To that point, what's right? You're right. You're
exactly.
active. You're active.
You're enough.
Participation. Your active presence is what's right. And providing that support. I made mention of it before. That's what's key.
Yep.
And I had to learn for myself in life, in my relationship, in my marriage, and with my children.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for this. So I
Facts.
have to. So I have to step up in those tired moments, finding me a delightful treat. I asked for this. So my presence, I can't allow my presence to slip.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, my number one fear is letting them down. I have no problem failing.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
We, as much as I often say, I hate losing more than I love winning, and I love winning.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that sometimes I fail. But what I won't do is quit. And
Yeah.
that's something that I've instilled in mind, to where we have a family motto: Wills
Yeah.
don't quit. Plain and simple.
I like that.
We don't quit. It gets tough. We face those adversities, but we don't quit. To answer this question, and I won't dive too deep because y'all knocked them out the park.
Bro,
But
Was
for
on the heater.
me, my father wasn't present in the home. My parents were young parents, and um, my dad wasn't there. I knew who he was. I had talked to him a time or two. It wasn't until I got older to where I was able to spend any time around him. But even then, I put a lot of pressure on myself. Manny, you spoke to the expectation, and you walking in my pod a little bit, because that's going to be a subject I speak on later on. The pressures of expectation versus those people who say the pressures of people counting you out. It's a different level of pressure. But for me, I put the pressure on myself and said I was the golden child. I was the one that was going to change the dynamic. My grandparents had 4 girls. I was the first boy born into the family. So for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be that difference maker. And although my father wasn't there, he did his job.
Yeah.
Because in my
sometimes
mind,
sometimes that's just the role that God intends for people to play.
that's what you intended. And how my composition and how I'm made up. All right, I'm going to beat your odds. I'm going to beat you. And that's that competitive nature. And so even though my daughter was conceived out of wedlock, my mindset was, I was 24. My parents were 19 and 18 when I was born. I beat you.
Yep.
I got other people. I'm taking care of myself, paying my own bills. I'm not relying on anyone else.
Yep.
My mother, queen of my life. But when she got pregnant with me and her and my father split, she had to go move back. She was still in high school, technically, and at my grandparents' house. So for me, it's like, okay, I beat this statistic. I beat this odd.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was a strong force in my life from that disciplinary state. But one thing that he put in me that I carry to this day, in regards to that point you was making about failure, is the worst they could tell you is no.
Yeah.
True.
And in that regard, I take that and I still let my kids make them tell you no.
Yep.
Because it's an automatic no if you don't present yourself.
Yep.
If
Or
you
if
don't
you don't show up.
ask, you don't show up, it's an automatic no.
Yep.
So if it's going to be a no, make them tell you no. Because sometimes what happens is people are not strong enough or comfortable enough with confrontation.
Yep.
And having to tell someone no is a matter of conflict and confrontation within themselves that they can't handle. And then that may be the door that you need to open so you can go through and trailblaze.
Yep.
But if they tell you no, guess what? It's all right. Y'all missing out, not me. And that's the approach I took even growing up with my dad. Hey, you lost out, not me. But to the point in reconciliation, Eric will probably say this is a deficiency in myself. I say it's a strength, where I treat relationships and interactions with people. I'll cut you off, and if I cut you off, we never met. Like there's no emotional tie to it. you're gone. You lost, not me.
I ain't mad at that.
But with my father, we had a conversation. I'm a grown man at this point, and I released him from any anguish, from any hurt, anything he was carrying. I released him because I had let go of it a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And I told him, for you, all I need you to do is to be active and present in my brother's life, which I have a younger brother who's 11 years younger than me. So at this point, like I said, I'm a grown man. I told him, don't leave him. Simple as that. If you want to do anything to make up what you want to say, make up to me what we didn't have,
don't repeat it.
Don't repeat it. Be present in his life. And so my dad was here in Atlanta for my daughter's graduation, and we were talking, and he was telling me about a young lady that he was talking to, and she was asking why his situation was with my brother's mother and all this. He was like, listen, I made a promise to my son. I made a promise to my oldest son that I would be there and be present in my youngest son's life.
Wow.
I held that promise. Once he became a grown man and went on, I was able to let go of that woman.
Yeah.
And so to me, it made me feel good to know that my words, my words to him was an impact to that he wanted to stand on it.
First, believe it or not, I agree with you on boundaries, brother. Boundaries are important, real, and necessary.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I think about that situation you said. You had every right to hold anger, to hold resentment towards your father for the things that, you want to hold him to. And you could have casted that light into your brother's life and already ruined his perception, his relationship with that man. Yeah. Or you were able to jump out that emotional mind, that hurt mind, right? That hurt space, and jump into that, who do I want to be mind, right? Mm-hmm. And you were able to allow space for him to have his own relationship and reclaim his own identity. That's powerful as shit, man. And that's a lot of issues. Not issues, that's just the part of the issue of it's hard to do that. Yeah. It's so hard to be vulnerable, and because we're thinking about fear of rejection is fucking real. And that's a lot of times, like to your point, Chuck, like the hard no versus the make them say no. Part of it is people do not want to be rejected. I get that. Confrontation's hard because I think I can only show up this perfect way. And if I do and I still get rejected, then what does that mean for my identity? So I avoid, right? But what you instill in your kids, Chuck, is that you are enough. It's okay to show up that way. And if that not, it's their fault because that shouldn't rock a who you are. Because look where it already got you.
Yep. Big facts.
Man, Chuck, that is that.
It's powerful,
that is
man.
that is so powerful because just thinking about what you said, I mean, you preserve something
that you could have easily torn down,
and no one would have been mad at you.
That you could have torn down. Nobody could have been mad at you. But just think about the perspective that you allowed your younger brother to have, despite what you had experienced. Like, I hate to get religious, but that's grace.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
That's grace.
That is absolutely
that is
grace.
The pure
in its purest form.
Purest form. Grace in its purest form, because there isn't a lot of people that can do that.
Well, and as black men and as black fathers, we are very rarely granted that space.
Oh man,
for grace.
Yeah.
But not the magnitude of the grace isn't what Chuck extended to him. It's what his father got to experience
and would allow for.
Yes,
that's what release for him.
Yeah.
Man,
to land that plane too, Chuck, I'll ask you this: is knowing you gave that opportunity for your brother and your father, that's got to fill your cup in a way that no tangible thing on this earth could do.
No apology.
And nothing.
And to drive it home, and that it's a value for Chuck. Mm-hmm. And when you do value aligned behavior in spite of your emotions, that's how you process hurt. That's how you get through trauma.
In my mind, how blessed are you to have done an act that took a heart that most don't possess?
Selfless.
That has allowed you to live and experience the fruit of that in the relationship you have with your children. God knows.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
God
And to your point, Eric, what you said, the emotional mind and the
Wise.
what was the wise mind, and that's something that I also look to instill into my children. Often it's they I'll say jokingly, but they'll say, "Oh, you're emotionless. You have no emotion." And even in my workspace, I've been accused of being emotionless or not caring. But for
Robotic.
me, it's I am able to understand my emotion and not operate in emotion because I know the
Emotions don't get
the
us nowhere.
the way that emotions can deter how you move, how you think, how you act. So in that, I'm not emotionless. I have emotions, but there's a hierarchy, and my listeners know Maslow's hierarchy of
Well, I
needs.
preach some Maslow's.
Listen, and so for me, understanding that I can tap into my emotion and be emotional when it's necessary, but everything does not require me to be emotional. And if I have emotions about it, I understand, I have my moment, and then I move forward. Because as you dwell in your emotions, that's when you start to experience and encounter all the other aspects that drag you down.
And to touch base on the self-actualization piece of Maslow's,
Oh,
right?
yes, sir.
And I love Maslow's, and I use it a lot in my practice. And the thing is, self-actualization is so not impossible, so difficult to actually not get to stay at. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong.
Sustainability. Yes,
It's
sir.
because you have to have this emotional intelligent awareness that you are forever evolving as a person. Your identity is
Yes.
forever being informed and shaped by the world around you, all kinds of stuff, right? So whenever a big event in life happens, you have a child, you have a birthday, you get a new job, you move, whatever, you start a class, that should be a check-in for yourself of who are you and how do you meet your needs and who do you want to be and how do you access that in spaces. The same person I was pre-Aiden, I cannot be that. I can't operate off that anymore. Easy way of putting Call of Duty, y'all, right? When Aiden came, after Cold War Call of Duty, I was gone, right? Because my life had to change. And it's not that I don't miss playing with y'all and it doesn't hurt that I can't get on like that. It's I can't have those two things anymore. So I have to think.
It's June.
It's June.
Oh yeah, never mind. Sorry.
So that's the thing is just kind of having that realization, right? And the emotion mind, right? I can't think of a time I made an emotional decision that was a good one that I wasn't lucky. It's all about being in the CEO of your brain and keeping yourself on your square. And how do you get back here? Because recognize you're an emotion mind. Give yourself 5, 10, 20 minutes to be there, validate that shit, and get back to business. But people try to rush through it and they're trying to be Batman and Gotham City about it. And you got to give space to your emotions. Chuck's talking about cute awareness. He knows who he is, how he needs to perform, what success looks like. And my only thing I say to Chuck is he didn't speak on it is what does self-care look like to recharge that battery after you do an incredible job of fighting emotions and keeping yourself on your square.
Boy, shooting people on Call of Duty.
Yeah, earned that degree.
Every single GPA decimal point. I promise you.
It was worth that trip we took to San Diego. Boy, God,
that wind that came and took the taco truck out, and it also drafted in some intelligence into me.
The Lord was putting some in you, brother. The only thing I will say, and I know we got to go to our next question, and Manny said something earlier that we don't have to hash, but it's just a comment I want to make. That Manny said that he wants to be that when with his girls or with his children, that he is that hand that catches them when they fall. My only thing to that is a dad, as a black dad, as a black present active dad, is that when those moments happen and you don't feel like being that, then who is there to catch you?
LXI.
So I want to step on, not step on, talk to that. And I want to say you can't have a moment when you don't want it to be that, because you're an active present dad. And in that space, no matter what, you have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to that point, which Eric was saying, you need something to recharge you. You may need something to put that battery back in your back, or you need a release. But what you cannot do is not be there. Now, being there looks different depending on the circumstance.
Okay.
There's no universal response to that. And I can say this and not put too much of her business out there. There was a situation with my daughter, and she's 18, and emotions and the high school love interest thing.
Yeah.
And I had to understand how I needed to be there, although I was not a fan of the situation.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's not a matter of you can't be there. It's just a matter of how you're going to be there.
Okay, got you.
Depending on what it is. But
what's the puzzle?
Because you established a precedent. You've established a standard.
Yeah.
You've always been there. So when you're not there, now you may cause harm. So you always have to be there. How you're going to be there looks different depending on the situation.
Yeah.
And as they get older, and even with your oldest daughter, and you can see how your conversation has changed as she gets older.
Yeah.
So in that interaction, and I kind of spoke on this a little bit on the last pod, in the dynamic of your parenting, the different phases of life that they're in.
Yeah.
And so for you, and when they fall, use your mom, for example. There were times when you fell. How she responded to you falling differed every single time.
Yeah.
But one thing you knew for sure, D was going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
How D was going to be there, how D responded, depended on
the situation.
How many times, depending on the situation, and how many times you may have fallen.
Yeah.
If it was a repeated fall.
Yeah.
Okay, the first 2 times, okay, it was a soft landing.
Yeah.
That third time,
we gonna have to we gotta land on your face.
Yes, sir. But no matter what, she was there. Yeah. And so I say to that, there's no, you can't be there. Because
you have to.
You started that. You set that expectation. Yeah. So you can't back away from that expectation. But how you're there is definitely going to be determined upon the circumstance and situation.
Well, I think with go ahead, Manny. Were you about to say
something? I just want to respond back to your earlier. Who catches me when I fall? And
Jesus.
I mean, but really, like,
land in the palm of your master's hand.
And I struggle with that really, really deeply, because like, even though I am extremely fortunate with the boys and LXI, knowing like it is rough. Like, and of course, my wife is there and she's there, but there is, and while this is probably not healthy, like, I would rather die on that horse than them to see me fall.
The therapist me got 1,000 questions for that.
I'm about to say, you not ready. It started salivating like we was.
Well, I was like,
Manny, I'm ready to back you up.
And I would rather go out on my shield than crumble.
I respect it.
We've all had Jon Snow moments.
And it's knowing. It's processing through that. It's processing the decision. Do I actually have to die on this shield?
Yeah.
Or do I just ask for help?
Yeah.
But then some part of me always feels like I've handled every single thing that I've run. I can handle this.
But is that something that we have been
It is generational trauma.
Okay.
Well,
I was gonna say,
10,000%. Oh yeah.
couple
This
notes.
is not healthy.
we wonder why Granddaddy was drinking and
Right,
drinking
yeah.
moonshine and sucking down cigarettes,
Right.
Because they don't know anything else.
Right.
Well, I was gonna say it's honey who catches me. I'm joking.
Manny, I was gonna say to you, man, like to point out what you're saying too, Jeezy, right? Like we our grandparents and parents did what they only knew what they could do, and so to your point, Manny, I wanted to challenge you as like the die on the shield thing. Nothing. I believe nothing is absolute in this world. Okay, so I do agree. There are things that I am dying on the shield before I let my family see me crumble, for sure. And I think most things, though, we can definitely figure out what the flexibility is. I don't have to tell you everything, right?
No,
I don't have
fair.
to tell you the details. I can just say
fair.
I'm having a hard day and reframe that to be validated. That's what it's about. You need to be validated. It's not about you needing external things to do something. You just need to know you're enough. And then you can go do it. Because that's what we just said. We are enough. Sometimes you just need somebody to validate that shit.
But
we think that it's almost like that. Either I gotta sob and cry in somebody's lap, or I gotta shut up and not say nothing at all. And there's an in between.
So here's the space or the moment where I think you can find solace in, and I know you all have experienced this. That moment when you walk through the door and your child comes running to you, or you've been away for a while and they haven't seen you.
Yep.
And as you continue to go on, it's gonna transform from that space of daddy and run to you to, and I've been blessed to experience this, my daughter telling me, hey dad, I appreciate everything you do.
I got the shit.
I know you deal with da, but I appreciate it. And it gives you that extra oomph.
Yeah.
That
and
I got to keep going.
And looking back, and it's like one of my regrets is now looking back and understanding my father's experience from the eyes of now being a husband and a father, that I can't go and just be like, I get it and I appreciate it.
Bruh.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to. This is so good, man. We can go on and on. Like this might need to be like a live session and people can tap in.
Bruh, I don't know why, but this is just this question alone has just opened
so much.
God,
Jeez, you said it in pre-pod when we were doing the prep. Oh, so we doing 3 hours?
I told you. I was like, bro, because I don't understand.
The boys went on a rabbit hole of healing,
bro. But it's so much, and I know there's so much that we can say.
There's so much more we can go.
Oh yeah.
But I know we got to press forward. But I swear, all the stuff that we said, Chuck, and I'll let you go into our final question, but I feel like all the details that we've talked about right now has just segued us right into that final question that we have for the pod.
Yes, sir. So our final question, and I'm gonna frame it like this before I just straight read the question. We all are members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and the beautiful thing of this brotherhood that LXI is, Alpha allowed us to connect, but our own relationship allowed us to take it further, and that's what birthed LXI. But with this,
I would update it is the fraternity allow us to meet. We allowed ourselves to connect.
Facts. That's big facts. Big facts. But with that, it's a perpetual nature to reach down and pull our brother up, because he ain't heavy. He's my brother. And we don't have to have the same letters, but we in this space of Black fathers who are present and active, and this is what this is about. We want to reach down and help. And I find myself doing this quite often, to the point where I kind of have to measure myself so I'm not encroaching upon other people's spaces. But I always get a positive response for it. So this last question is, what advice would you give to young Black men who are becoming fathers for the first time, especially in a world that often overlooks or undervalues their role? And I will let our regional therapist
Don't do it.
don't do it. Reconsider.
Read some
Read some
literature on the subject. You sure? All right. But we're gonna let our regional assistant to the assistant manager therapist Eric start us off on this question.
Yeah, man. The number one advice I'd say is go listen to Pardon the Politics Part 1 and Encompass Part 2 and take copious notes. But things that we haven't talked about already. First is that you are enough. And I wrote this down too because this one really, really meant something to me. You're enough. You're not perfect. You're not all knowing. You're not healed from everything, but you're enough. Your presence matters more than any performance of perfection. Be emotionally available.
Yep.
Learn to apologize. Speak life into your child. And shameless plug, get into therapy.
Yeah.
Not because you're broken, but because healing is your birthright and your child deserves a whole parent. Second, you're not alone. You need to build a tribe. Elders, dads, uncles, people around you who want you to win and can hold space for you.
Yep.
Seek them out. Be vulnerable. Black fatherhood is isolating if you try to do it in silence, and community is our protection. And the final one is, you're not just raising a child, you're disrupting legacy. Every diaper you change, every bedtime story you read, or every tear you wipe, that's reclaiming fatherhood, and that's revolution.
Big time. Big time.
Preacher.
Woo.
We can end the episode right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I do want to say one thing real quick that you mentioned, and it is so vital. And then I'll let y'all two go, and then I'll give mine last to close us out. Apologize.
Yeah. Every time.
And I'll touch on that more when I get to closing out and speaking my piece, but apologizing is crucial. All right. Jeezy, Manny, whoever wants to go next.
I'll go. I had that as a young Black dad. If you're looking to become a father, understand your role. The role of a father is so vital. I've spoken of it in the part 1, I believe. But when it comes to girls get their self-esteem. They get that their beauty, their self-confidence from you. I don't have a son, but from the example that I've seen from my brothers, the role of a father to a son is just as vital. It's not about making him the alpha male or making him tough or making him feel like that he can't express emotions. You show him a vulnerable side and you show him how to love, to express love. You have to understand that role. Eric said something very key. It's so in every tear that you wipe, every diaper that you change. I think that sometimes when I think about the role of a father, we look at our grandparents and grandpa and or either dad worked and that was it. He didn't take care of no kids. If your mama left, she took him to grandmama house or she took him to her sister house. But
Facts.
But us as dads, we take care of our children.
Yes, sir.
Me and Manny, we oftentimes have moments where our wives are not present and we holding down the fort. That's a true dad. That is a powerful dad. That is not about all this manly stuff or alpha stuff. It's what can you do that just adds value to your children. Also, just be with someone that supports that role. I think a lot of times in our younger people, they become fathers to people that they may not even understand their role. So that's why my first point was to understand your role. But then they may also be with someone that doesn't understand or support that role as well. And that could be just as detrimental and make it harder for you to understand and be supportive in your role as a dad. So be with someone that understands and supports that role. But lastly, advocate in that role.
Yeah.
You're a dad.
Oh yeah.
You're a dad. And that means something. We always joke about it. And I always tell Manny, and the boys have heard me say it, but I've always said that the Black American dad is the most unappreciated dad in America. And I always say that jokingly, but advocate for yourself. Dads need breaks too. I think sometimes, and mom, and we're not taking nothing from moms. Moms are great. Moms are wonderful. They're vital to our family structure. But sometimes we need our time too. Sometimes we need to get in a space where we can get our mental health in the space that we need to be, so we can be that whole parent that Eric spoke about. That we can sit there and understand what is needed and speak up for what we need. But most of all, understand that our struggles as a parent, as a dad, does not define our success as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
That does not define us. We're not perfect. I certainly wasn't perfect with my first. I was not perfect with my second, and I'm not going to be perfect with my third. But I understand that grace is afforded to me, and though I may make mistakes, that does not define my success as a parent. What defines me is the love, the apologetic nature of me as a father, and how I rebound and retool and restructure myself to be the best dad that I can be. Not
Amen.
just for what makes me happy, but what ultimately builds and protects my children. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
that's me
Word.
of what I would tell a young dad. So
I think what I would tell them is don't let fear or doubt keep you away.
Ooh.
Don't
Ooh.
chase perfection. Be present.
Yep.
Show up for them.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to show your love or your flaws, because that is who you are. And understand that the world is likely not going to give you your flowers. But when it's all said and done, your kids will know who you are. And that's what counts.
Man, we should have talked about that a little bit more. The world certainly will not give us our flowers. Some of us gonna give some macaroni necklaces on Father's Day.
Bro, some ties.
When we gave diamond necklaces and we
vacations.
Get socks, 2 big socks that don't fit, and neckties when we don't even wear ties. But
yeah,
when we're long and gone, bro, the love that we instilled into our families, bro, transcend time, bro.
And I think that is that last piece, that your kids will know who you are.
Yes, sir.
I hope my father, resting in peace, knows that, like, I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know and I appreciate it.
Man, great words from my brothers. The advice I would give, and I've made mention of this before on the podcast, is don't be afraid to look in the mirror, because your children are a reflection of you, and they will show you yourself.
Yep.
But are you big enough? Are you smart enough? Are you emotionally intelligent enough to accept what you're seeing? Because it can be an ugly truth. And if you're not willing to look at that truth and make corrections, you're going to ruin your relationship. You're going to impact, you're going to hinder that relationship. I often make mention of how my son has held a mirror to my face in regards to his interactions with me. And I see myself and I'm like, okay, you got to, hey, bro, you got to approach this different.
The hardest thing is parenting the you at your kids.
Man.
And see, that's the thing. I have realized you don't need to parent the you out of your kids.
Yep. Talk about it, Chuck.
You have to fix yourself to understand the you that's in your child, so that you can help them move and navigate in a better fashion than you did.
Yeah.
So they're not making the same mistake you did. And so in that, to the point I hit on earlier and I was going to get to, apologize, because we're not always right.
Definitely not always right.
As much as it is a running joke that I am right 99.975% of the time. So I'm not perfect, but there's a small margin of error.
Margin of error.
But I have no problem going back to my children. Hey, my bad. I was wrong. Oh, I responded out of anger. I responded out of frustration.
Yep.
My bad.
Yep.
Forgive me. Because they are humans too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only are they humans, but you have to respect them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, there's a different dynamic to the respect as being a parent and a child. And I won't go too much deeper on this, but my son hit me with something many years ago that really changed the dynamic for me. And before I go into that, I'll say how you was raised doesn't mean that's how you have to exactly raise your child.
Not absolutes.
Because there could be some adjustments and some corrections to how you were raised. Mm-hmm. But the thing that my son hit me with was I was upset with him about something. And I was like, keep it up and I'm going to punch you in your chest or something along that line.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my son is me. And if I'm going to express how I feel and let you know no matter what. And he said, how can you hurt me or want to hurt me and you say you love me?
Mm.
And that thing hit me.
You want to talk about a mirror?
Out of the mouth of babes.
You want to talk about a mirror?
That thing hit me because I was like, bruh, he's not wrong.
No.
Not at all.
And although I was a child who was spanking and I spare the rod, spoil the child. But for my children, there hasn't been much spanking, but we've worked in a space of understanding and communicating. You know, now especially with my son, I got to rough him up a little bit, let him know I'm still the man. Just because you done got bigger, I'm the big boss.
I'm still
man.
at the top of the food chain. I'm still the head of the table.
I'm big dog. Yeah,
you got to air out a chest once in a while.
Exactly, but that really was reflective for me. Like, okay. You got to do something different here. So we're at an hour and 20 plus minutes. So we're gonna wrap this up. But man, we could make this a series. We could really
I had like
go further with this.
And I was about to say.
There's so much that we can continue to talk about, bro. And this is exciting. Like,
it was in my pocket, so I'm here for it.
This is so exciting, and hopefully to our listeners, I hope we do more of this.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes, really for sure. Man,
because
we got more crossover episodes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, man.
But so we're gonna wrap this up. Again, I thank my brothers for this fantastic moment, man. Between part 1 and part 2, this has been a dynamic set of conversation, interaction, and Eric's keyword, vulnerability. And we're gonna keep it going. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it. It will be beneficial to you, to your loved one. And as we close, as we always say here at Encompass Podcast, may the Lord watch between me and D.
Hey.
And if nobody loves you, Jesus loves you, and Tupac does too. Be blessed.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Yeah, definitely Happy Father's Day. Salute, brothers.